KCC105 for week number 7, we need to create a baseline index for our assignment for our final graphic. 3 steps to that. I'll break it down in this video. We need to find the data, time sequence data, something over time, a consumer price over time. We need to use a spreadsheet to create that index, and we also need to look at that spreadsheet and say, hey, what is the percent change? How are things changing over time? We'll talk about those 3 steps here. First of all, visually, this is what an index looks like. You can see in the little ups and downs. How's the price of, or the performance at a restaurant, the revenue, the profits, how's that change? Coal mining. It's unclear exactly what it's measuring, but maybe the output of coal mines. So it's sort of stayed steady over these past 10 years. These are the types of graphs you're going to create. But what type of price restaurants, or what type of information restaurants, coal mining? Well, I'm giving you a link to the Bureau of Labor Statistics here. And they give you this nice little kind of click-through website where you can pick, okay, let's look at the entire U.S. I click next form. Here we go. Now I get a lot of different information. I can say, hey, rice, bread, crackers, ground beef, all these different things. Well, guess what? You pick something of interest to you or relevant to you. I've got a sweet tooth, so ice cream is where I'm going. I go to next form, and they give me this. This is just a code number. I'm not worried about that, but I do want to retrieve the data, and ta-da, it gives me 10 years of ice cream prices. And actually, if you go here, you want even more. Back since 1980, we can talk about nearly 40 years of ice cream data. Great information. However, this is kind of in a grid. If you look at the indexes, it's in a line. So what I want to do is I want to get this information reformatted, more formatting options. Lots of different things I can do here. I just want 12 months. No. I want column format, retrieve data. There we go. All my data is right in a line, and this will be fairly easy to get into a spreadsheet and graph, but there's a couple wrinkles. I'll show you in a second. However, that's the first step. If you're going to do an index, get some time sequence data. I picked ice cream. You pick something of interest to you. Format in a line, and then you can download it. Okay. I already downloaded it, so well, that's the title. I already downloaded it, so I'm going to do this index in Microsoft Excel. If you're using Google Sheets, the process is the same. Okay, value. That's the price of the ice cream. We understand that. That's $4.14 for a half gallon of ice cream. We understand what that means. But in index, or in this case, I'm going to talk about a baseline index. A baseline index is a little different. A baseline index is general. What's that mean? It means that instead of talking about money numbers, I'm just going to start with the number 100. And if you're like, wait, why 100? Just think of it as 100%. It means that's all the money that I started with, 100%. And then, of course, it changes. Look at the first month. It actually went down in price. So maybe, maybe the cost of milk or something went down. But how do we reflect that in a formula? Equals. Always start with equals when you're doing a formula. And then you're going to divide this number divided by the baseline number. No, wait a minute. Baseline means this number should never change. $4.14. It never changes. And if you ever type in Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets and want a number, in this case D11, that's square, if you want it to never change, baseline never changes, you have to hit on your computer the button F4. Ding! And look at what happens. I hit F4 and those dollar signs popped in. It looks a little cryptic, but really all that means is that is a baseline. It never changes. I hit enter. And look at my number. Oh, I forgot one part of the formula. Hey, come on, I'm teaching class. Hopefully I can get these formulas right. Equals my price divided by the baseline price. And then, since it's baseline, hit the number F4. Okay, last part of the formula I forgot last time. Hit the multiply and multiply by 100. How come 100? Well, that's what I just talked about before. 100 means 100%. I hit enter. There we go, 97. Hey, 97 is below 100. The price went down. It makes sense. Now, see that button in the corner? I'm going to click it, and I'm going to pull it down. Not the 100, just the 97 one. And then it takes a second and it goes up. Well, actually, it goes up and down. And look at this, 101. 101 is bigger than 100. That price is bigger than the baseline. Okay, look at this, 106. That's bigger than 100, and that's bigger than the baseline. So it sort of matches up. I click it, and I pull it right down. And yeah, it works. And all the way down here, I'm talking 117. That's a lot bigger. $4.87, so that was probably like the most inflation of ice cream. Who knows what was going on right that time? Maybe there's a dairy shortage. I don't understand those things. That's not what I'm talking about answering right now. I'm just talking about if you see these prices, can you get a baseline index? First step, always automatic. Type in 100. It always starts that way. And then after that, equals the new price divided by the baseline price, and hit the button F4 times by 100. And you get the answer. If that F4 thing is really confusing you, you can also do this, equals new price divided by, and then you can actually type that $4.14, no formula, multiply by 100, and you'll see you'll get the exact same thing. Formula, pull it down all the way to the bottom. I got it. There you go. All right, and we can make a graph. So if I click the E, the baseline index, and I go up to Insert, oh, it's taking a second. There we go. I got all these different types of graphs. This is time sequence data. Over time, we don't use these area, pie, no, we use a line graph. So I'm going to click a line graph. It thinks for a second, and whoa, something just happened there. You know what happened? I think it tried to graph all the blank squares. So let me just specifically highlight just the numbers. Insert, line graph, 2D line. That's much better. Okay, I was trying to graph blank squares, which obviously didn't help the graph. There we go. There is a baseline index. In the next video, I'll show you how to change the numbers down at the bottom. I will show you how to add another line there. If you're graphing ice cream against, say, the price of milk, wouldn't those go together? I don't know. That's up for you to decide. But that's how you can get a baseline index. Oh, and the very last thing I'm going to talk about. That number 115, what does it represent? Well, 115, if I just subtract it by 100, remember I started at 100, I get 15.6. So what's that 15.6 mean? Put a percentage on it. So it's 15.6% change. That's why we started with 100. 100 represents 100%. So then you can just look at these numbers and it's just a percentage change. 15.6% change over 10 years. So in one simple formula right here, you get two different things. You'll get a graph, you'll get indexes, you'll get a graph, and then you'll get a percent change. Put it together. You're going to be able to do the exact same thing using Bureau of Labor Statistics data. And then watch the next videos. I'll show you how to use inflation data and also how to compare two types of data. Any questions? Reach out on email.